All right, everyone. I know the NBA Finals is on, so this is going to be about an hour. Just a little breakdown. I'm going to go through a little bit of my Gematria presentation for Locked In Water first, and then we'll get into some of the questions. I know Mike wants to speak about the name, and then we'll get into discussion. But we'll try to keep this succinct, brief after a long day yesterday and a nice rollout. And so, first, I want to just start off again. We're all shareholders here, and we are here as a collective. So, if you do have different views and whatnot, that's okay. That's healthy. This is where we share together, and this is where iron sharpens iron. If you have differing views, okay. And so, getting straight into it with the Gematria. So yesterday, as soon as the rollout happened with Locked In, my first initial thoughts at first, and I was telling Mike and a couple other people, it felt like it was a little abrasive to start. But as the name started to, seep into my mind, I started to realize, this name could have potentially a lot of upside with a lot of different colloquial sayings, phrases that go with the phrase locked in. And, us having our past experience with Next Level, us having this trademark now, and it seems like this trademark is fully locked in. Nobody else should be, using this moving forward, which is a great thing. All right. And so getting into it, the Gematria. So they're the two ciphers that we're going to focus on today. It's the English ordinal cipher and the English reduction cipher. Those are the two most common ciphers within the English language. The English ordinal cipher is A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, all the way to Z equaling 26. Just a straight line numerically, letters and numbers. All right. Now, for the reduction, what's different about the reduction is still the English language, but it's reduced and condensed to the sole 1 through 9 numbers, the basic 1 through 9 numbers. All right, so A equals 1, I equals 9, then J is back at 1. Now, those are the two ciphers we're going to go to today. They keep it simple. And to know the difference between those ciphers, think of it as inside, outside. The ordinal cipher is outside. Think you can change your clothes, your hairstyle. It's things that is a little bit more manipulated. All right. Now, for the English reduction, since it's reduced, that's the inside. That's more condensed. You're going to get a more energetic, a more singular answer. All right. So think ordinal outside, reduction inside. And so getting into the actual numbers, I always talk about, the big numbers 33 and its different permutations. So a permutation is a different way to see a 33. So obviously you have the number 33. Then you have 303, 330, 333. Another one is going to be 137 that we're going to talk about. Now, you might ask, how is that a 33? Well, it's the 33rd prime number, which means it's the 33rd number in sequence where its number can only be divided by itself in 1. Very powerful number. And so those are the numbers we're going to focus on today. I always talk about it. Now, so the first decode I want to go over before getting into it is ordinal and reduction Gematria ciphers, the inside outside of English language. That equals 333 in reduction. That's a long sentence, but it equals the exact powerful number that we look for in the inside cipher. And so now that's the basis of what I'm going to focus on. And when I edit this video, the visuals of the calculations are going to be put up. But now let's get into it. Magical storyline that we've had. That equals 33 in English ordinal. Promises made, promises kept, as I've talked about. That equals 303 in English ordinal. Joe Pavlik returning to Locked In. It was a magical day yesterday. That equals 330 in English ordinal. You see the power behind that. and another one, which goes back to even our next level days. And you could tell how people talk about Joe, what he did for the company within the first 95 days. It was something special. So Joe Pavlik is the LTNC stock engine equals 333 in English ordinal. That's as powerful as you can essentially get. All right off the bat. So, I feel like we have the right numbers, we have the right people in place, and that's just for the outside. Now, looking at the inside, when it comes to the actual name of Locked In, now this is where it gets pretty interesting. And so, we talk about 33 in reduction, locked. So you know how we used to say, hand me a next level, or I bought some locked ins, right? I bought some next levels. We used it as the term of the name. All right. So locked ins, like I bought some locked ins equals 333 in reduction. A singular locked in, a locked in also equals 33 in reduction. Remember, stories equals 33 in reduction. This is a huge storyline. And also, when I talked about the name LockHeads as our community name, well, lo and behold, that also equals 33 in English reduction. And to sum all that up, when I talked about reduction being the inside cipher, when you're looking at the core of something, inside equals 33 in reduction. So those are some of the base ones for 33. And now I'm going to get a little bit more complicated, but it all comes in together. All right. I'm going to talk about 137. Remember, 137 is the 33rd prime number. It can only be divisible by itself in one. It's the 33rd one in its line. So when we talk about money, the New York Stock Exchange was actually, the birth date of the New York Stock Exchange was May 17th, 1792. Now, what's interesting about May 17th, 1792, it was actually the 138th day of the year. But any other year, it's because of a leap year, but any other year, it's the 137th day of the year. So 3 out of 4 years, May 17th is the 137th day of the year. And a stock market equals 137 in English ordinal. Promises made equals 137 in English ordinal as well. Now, the biggest 137 I found was actually our phrase, get locked in, unleash your potential. Get locked in, unleash your potential equals 137 in reduction. That's powerful in my opinion. At the core, our phrase is a big 133. It's on our can. It was on our video yesterday. It all has the correct numerology to be something special. And to be quite frank, I feel like this is more strong than the next level name based off the 33s I found. Now, to finish up with the Gematria, we're going to talk about 133s, and there's a lot of them. 133 is the investment number to look for, equals 133 in reduction, but also Joe Pavlik leading the LTNC LockHeads. Joe's locked-in nootropics is best. Locked-in nootropics will sell well. Joe Pavlik's cherry nootropic and the Figueroa family and locked in, they all equal 133 in reduction. That's the investment number. Very important. And I have my book right here, Investing 101 by Michelle Kagan. And funny enough, on the 133rd page, it brings up Warren Buffett for the first time talking about value investing. So that's the gematria I have today I wanted to share. I talked about earlier, locked in water equals 135 in ordinal. Yesterday was May 31st, so in reverse, 531 makes sense. And we talked about 106, hydrogen infused water. When Pluto enters Aquarius, locked in products under LTNC, all equals 106 in reduction. The very first day for locked in as a new entity is today, which is June 1st. So that's what I have gematria wise. I'm going to open up. I have questions. I have opinions as well, but I don't want to overstep my bounds. I'm going to let the community talk. So if anybody wants to request to talk about what they felt about yesterday's reveal, how do they like the name? Do you like the products? Are we going in the right direction? I would like to hear from you guys. But so just hit the request button right now, or I'll just go into my opinions and some of the questions I have. I know Joe's on here, so I do have a couple questions I would like to ask him as well. But first off, I do want to say somebody's requesting real quick. All right, I'm gonna get you in just in general, Mike. Hello, Mike. Hello.
I just want to say I have absolutely no idea what you just said. That's all I got.
It's good, Mike. It's good information. That's all you need to know. It's very powerful. It's more conducive to what we're trying to do.
Sounds good.
Remember, next level equals 104 in ordinal. When did we drop the product?
We're good. We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
All right.
He blew me away. I got the numbers written down, though. Don't worry.
Okay.
I did write them down. I'm just going to listen and see what everybody has to say.
Okay. And then I know you want to talk about the name a little bit, so you can talk about that as well. But first, I wanted to talk about the CSP. I was talking to some people. I know Tom said yesterday we're not looking at CSP right now, and that we're not necessarily trying to get into retail, which I think that does go in hand with that event. But talking with a couple other people, just my opinion, I feel like it would be nice just to kind of keep the award-winning ball rolling, and I think it would help for marketing. Not saying we're going to end up getting to CSP, but if there is a way to put one of the products, maybe that nootropic drink in there, I think it would be, killer, 100%. And also, a thing I wanted to bring up, Tom brought up the audit today, the 2021 audit. It was nice seeing that is finally finished. And last week he did say, it's going to be up to him if he believes the actual financial numbers come out with it. I only saw those 2 pages. I haven't seen any financial information yet. But if that's something that would be released at some point, I would love to see that. One of the shareholders brought up how Mike TZ on his LinkedIn, on his description, said that we sold over 1.5 million in 2021, and we were on scale to do over 15 million in 2022 of what could have been. So even if the numbers are ugly within that audit, I feel like that would be a good baseline for shareholders to see where we went and where we can go and how we can overcome. And so I don't think people should be scared about the numbers or whatever they say. We can't trade the stock. We're all stuck in here together, and the only way we're going to get out of it is by working together and maybe having a little baseline. Another thing that interested me about last night was how when Joe talked about the nootropic and how much passion he had when talking about it, right off the bat, I felt like, okay, this product right here, it could be a winner. And what I didn't realize at the time, it was a 12-ounce can, and it's the same price as the regular OG regular OG locked-in water, hydrogen water. And I think that's very key because the gamer shots at regular price stayed more expensive. But now we have 2 bread and butter products that are at the same price, and I think those 2 will be competing for top sales. When I look at the flavored water, I know people are looking at the flavored water and they want a variety pack, which I think would be really cool, and that has a nice salesman angle to it. Because even though I pre-ordered the 3 different cases of the flavored water, I didn't realize at the time until looking at it, it's only 8 ounces. And on top of the fact, it's about half of the ppm power of the original hydrogen water that we have with D.A.T.A. And so when looking at price points and more bang for buck, I'm pre-ordering the flavors, but I might just go back to the OG water because I feel like the more ppm power is nice, and it's at a cheaper cost. But hey, Junior, you wanted a request. I'm gonna allow you to speak whenever you're ready. And Beach, I would like you to speak as well too. Junior. All right, Junior. You're still on speaker. Whenever you want to talk, you can go ahead. Anybody else? Just request in. Hello. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realize this is my first time being on a Twitter space. So I just want to comment regarding yesterday's reveal and what it meant for me being a shareholder for the last 2.5 years and kind of seeing the early highs and kind of those, long lows for about 2 years and just kind of seeing the product assortment. In my opinion, it was like the ultimate mic drop. Having, early on seeing that hydrogen water, 2.5 years ago and the work that Joe was doing and then kind of the silence of like no new products. Having seen the flavored water, the rebrand, we had the alkaline water, we had the coffee pods, and there's a whole bunch of more things. I'm even more excited and invigorated of what this company could be than I was 2.5 years ago. Now, granted, there's a lot of things we still need to kind of work through, but I have this renewed energy, and a lot of it is driven because of the product, and obviously all the small things have been going on behind the scenes. But this is the kind of thing that I think would, in my opinion, turn this back into a potential billion-dollar business, and I think that's what a lot of shareholders were hoping for when they got into the stock 2 years ago. So that's kind of my spiel, but pretty impressed from what I saw yesterday, and I've been pretty impressed with Tom in his last 2 appearances. Well-spoken, he's got the shareholders' best interest, and I'm glad to see Joe back in the mix of things. I think he was, the innovator and the true product guru, and I think he's going to hopefully take his place with some new product. So, thanks.
Yep, and I have a question for you. Did you pre-order anything? And if you did, what stood out to you, and like what did you get?
So I haven't pre-ordered. Now I had a pretty bad first experience back in 2021 when I ordered a bunch of cases, and it cost me about $350 US to ship to Canada.
Oh wow!
So I kind of put a pause on that, but it looks like the shipping might be a little bit more favorable. It was the flavored water that really caught my attention as much as I like the non-flavored water from a couple of years ago. I think what was lacking in expanding the shelf assortment was having multiple different SKUs, and you can't really do that with multiple versions of the same non-flavored water. If they end up getting back on shelf, I can see, a 4-foot section, not only the waters, but the alkaline water and probably some other things that I'm sure Joe's going to work on in the future. That's where, again, I get excited of the in-store retail potential. The online stuff is great, but if you want to drive hundreds of millions of dollars of sales, it's going to be in-store.
I agree with that. Yesterday, Tom did elaborate that we're going to do, direct to consumer right now. But I think I do at some point we got to get back into retailer, and with the design, we kind of stayed true to our design too. It's not too far off from the next level one, and like you said, a 4-foot tower of those waters with those designs. It's going to be eye catching. And if it's in Canada one day, that would be even better.
Yeah, and I think again where the advantage is now versus 2 years ago, you really had, in my opinion, one SKU that you can really put on in store, and that was that one single hydrogen water. But now you have 3 or 4 strong SKUs you can go in there. You're talking quarter pallet drops. You're talking side caps, end caps. Placement in store. I think this just opens up even more doors. Now I know where Tom's coming from. They need to kind of get the books in order and start generating positive cash flow. And I'm sure once they get things kind of straightened out, I'm sure in 3-4 months they'll be looking to get in-store placement. I think things will move even quicker from there.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Mike. Junior. Mike, do you want to go over some of the layout for the logo and stuff? You wanted to talk about the name, and I'm excited to hear the story behind it. What other names were considered and whatnot?
The logos were all designed by Javier, who's in the room right now. He's I trade stocks 99, I believe it is. 89.
Yep, and you cooked up Javier for sure.
Yeah, he makes all the graphics, and they're incredible. As far as the names, there was a lot of names that were presented, but a little exercise you can do is come up with a beverage name and then go Google it. Somebody has it. Somebody has a patent on it. Then take another one and somebody has a patent on it. And that's pretty much the process that you undertake when you go into naming a product. Is there are so many names, so many great names that were come up with, and they're just they're taken. It's somebody makes a water somewhere and they have that name. You know, somebody makes a fitness drink somewhere and they have that name. You always have to do your homework and make sure that it's available for beverages. And that's the biggest thing of, you know, Joe can speak on that because he obviously was involved with the group text, the very large group text that we had. And we came up with a lot of names, and this one ended up sticking out the most, but there was some really good names that stuck out pretty much just as much, and they're just taken. And you don't even know these products exist. You don't even know these patents exist, but they're live patents.
And I'm surprised LOCKD'IN wasn't taken. Like, I'm actually dumbfounded. And so why not the E? You know, was there a reason behind that, or you just wanted to keep it a little bit shorter?
I don't really think there was an official. I think it looks better. I think graphically it looks better. It kind of it's kind of the same style with a lot of people's logos in different products. They spell them just a little bit different to catch a little flair. I think that it really does look good with Javier's designs. I can't say enough. I know I've said Javier a couple times, but like he's truly been like one of the biggest parts of this company. Everybody noticed how great our graphics, videos, etc., future commercials, website designs with Hackup have been. These guys are volunteers and they're just killing it every day.
Yeah, you guys are killing it, and I want to thank you guys for that. Now, again, guys, this is a place where you can open, you can ask questions. This is dialogue. Yesterday was more about hearing what Joe, Tom, and the crew has to say. Today is about what do you feel like? How do you feel after today? And whatnot. Like how Junior explained, he had a bad experience a couple years ago in Canada. He hasn't bought product yet, but he's still here. Is there any other experiences out there like that? For me, I've continued to buy water periodically here and there. I stopped for a good while, but then as I saw things were getting back on track, I started to, nibble on some cases once again. My family uses it. My mom loves it. My dad loves it. And they're always asking me all about the updates and whatnot. My dad was on the Twitter Spaces last night listening. So it's truly, this company is a family affair. I've heard so many different stories from so many other people of their stories. And, you got to ask Goose or, Next Level, LOCKD'IN Milo, his story with his father sometime. And that really touched me. And it was, gave me motivation to stick with this company because, even on, Goose's father's, last couple of days, they had conversations about where this company could go. And, it'd be a really, gratifying thing to win in the end, for Goose and his family. So that is very powerful.
One more thing is another person that's been very helpful is Ryan. Anytime you need anything, you can pick up the phone, and Ryan has the experience with it. No matter if it's helping out with his Twitter Spaces, no matter what it is, Ryan is always willing to help. And I don't think Ryan gets the credit that he deserves because, like, literally, you can pick up the phone at 2:00 in the morning, and Ryan's going to answer, and he's going to help you.
Well, in that case, Ryan, I see that you're on here. Thank you for showing up. You're a shareholder now. What are your thoughts about the company? I just request so you can speak. I'm sure everybody would love to hear you talk. How do you feel about the company? Where's it going? You gave us your baby, 2 years ago. Do you feel like, this is going to turn around for the better? So if you want to talk, just hit the request, and I'll let you go on. You can have the stage. what else I have is the variety pack. So, and maybe Joe can speak to this, maybe Mike. Is there an idea for the variety pack coming for the 3 different waters? I think that would be very nice. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Ryan, you're on whenever you want. You can speak.
How's it going, guys? Can you hear me all right?
Yep, I can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, how could you not be excited after what we saw yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of in the loop on the name and everything, behind the scenes. And I got to tell you, I personally was like, it's okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when I saw what they put out, oh my God, you can't help but like it. You have to like it. So, yeah, I mean, obviously the company's been through just a lot of drama, a lot of frustration and hardship that's been put on people trying to get things done here. What you guys are doing there, working with Tom. I mean, I don't know you all. I've heard some names, but Mikey, obviously, and Javier, the work on the graphics and everything. I mean, it's really impressive what's been put together. And, I mean, my understanding is pretty much everybody's working pro bono, and the quality that you get for that, just compared to what some companies get with, what they spend on it. I mean, it's just damn impressive. It's just impressive. So, yeah, I mean, 2.5 years ago when I did that deal, I certainly didn't think I would be here now. So wondering if I'm ever going to be able to sell shares, right? I certainly didn't think that. I can't tell you the amount of disappointment that my family has gone through this whole thing. When we signed this deal, like I remember tweeting it. It was like a Saturday night or Sunday night in February, and I'm talking about, I'm going to pray about it and think about it. And my wife's like, she says, just do this damn deal. This is a good deal. And that's kind of what pushed me over. She's like, do the damn deal. But man, right now I'm feeling pretty great. I know there's still some procedural hurdles that need to be overcome. We need to see the 22 audit, obviously. Then they'll have to get the interim period ended June 30 together, because probably by the time they get the 22 audit, we'll be looking for the first half numbers. Those don't have to be audited, so that's nice. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to being able to trade the stock. And if I'm being completely honest, if I'm able to buy the stock at 000 anything, I'm a buyer. I'm not selling here.
100%.
Yeah, there's things I think that need to be addressed. James Stepolito's note, that's a lot of debt. I don't know what we really got for that debt, and that's really so it doesn't matter. I don't about it, but and then the issue with Jason. Not supported Jason. I was Jason Strong. Even while he threw shade at me, I was still supportive of him because I felt it was in my best interest to be supportive of him, since he was in control of my, pretty big chunk of my financial future. So, I was like, yeah, you call me an asshole, that's okay. I still love you because you're going to make me a bunch of money. But it didn't work. Tom, I've known Tom. If you were on here yesterday, you heard he actually called me up. He was a pissed off LTNC shareholder back in like 2014. The stock went. So we IPO'd at 2 cents. The stock, the first day that traded, it went to 30, and then after a year, it was at like 80 cents, right? And so he bought shares at 72 cents, and then that was kind of like the high. There's always somebody who bought the high, right? Well, the price of LTNC, it was Tom Zara.
Wow. So Tom Zorro is probably the biggest bad.
For sure. Well, I mean, that was, almost 10 years ago. I'm sure I know he's made money along the way. But I know for a while I know you've seen that meme where it's like, yeah, buy the dip, but it keeps dipping. And I know he had to be that guy for a long time. It was so bad. And I was trying to fix it. What was bringing the stock down what was driving it up was a tremendous growth. And we were growing like 100% month over month. And what was bringing it down was this dilution. And I thought I could outrun it. And, the numbers, what happens when you start issuing shares, they're based off of a percentage of what you already have out. Well, if you've got 10 million shares out, 5%, that's not a lot of shares. But after a while, that 5% starts compounding, and the next thing you know, you're at 100 million. And that's kind of what happened. It was really death spiral. And so Tom Zarver calls me up. He's like, "Hey, bro, what the F is going on with my investment here? I see all these numbers. You did $14 million in your second year in business. What's going on? I'm in Atlanta. Can I come see you?" And I was like, "Yeah, come on by." We struck up a friendship, and it was pretty great. And I'm thankful for that friendship. Business aside, I'm thankful for it. As a person, as a Christian, he's a Christian. I don't want to, get all holy on everyone or anything, but I feel like that's played a part in my life, right? I'm glad to see that he's in charge. I worry about him because it's that job carries with it so much stress. I worry that he's a hard worker and he's a committed person. And I've seen other businesses how much energy he puts in, and I'm certain he's putting no less into this. And it's not even for him. He's not getting paid. I can't imagine what his wife's giving him in the ear every night, because I've been there too.
Oh man!
But he's doing, and at first when he called me when this first started, kind of transpiring, where we started figuring out what was really going on behind the scenes, and he called me at first, and he said, "Man, isn't this fun?" And I was like, "No, this is not fun. It seems like it's fun right now, but in a couple months, this will be a nightmare." And so fast forward now, he's like, "Oh my God, it's like all day, every day." But man, he's getting it done, and he's the guy who I feel has the right temperament to navigate this. There are a lot of people that could come in and navigate this in different ways. If it were me, I'd sledgehammer, and that's not Tom. And I think that his approach is the right one, and he's been able to bring people together. He's got Joe back in the mix, and let me tell you, Joe, when you give Joe the mic, he really gets people excited about health and wellness, and that just that transcends the whole idea behind what I was pitched back in February 2021. That was the deal I was pitched. That was the deal that I was handing over my baby to invest in. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I see now. Tom is a man of integrity. I feel totally comfortable being in his hands. I know he's going to need some help along the way. He's not afraid to ask for it, and he's brought in people, and I suspect that there were people. I don't know the history with Jam. I don't know the history, but I'm sure there's a great story there. And I imagine you guys reached out to him at some point. It's like, "Hey, how can we help?" There had to be some. I'd love to hear that story, Mikey. If you want to share that, I would love to hear that story.
So, quick question. So, I follow you on Twitter, and I saw one of the things that it's about more or less the OTC and what the OTC is missing in regards to unity and making sure we consolidate on the stock ideas so we can get some movement. So my question to you, Ryan, is: do you believe LTNC can be that one stock now to create that type of movement, to get pushed whenever we are tradable? Because I firmly believe there are people who bought in the trips that are going to sell regardless. But if we can be deemed the one as that stock, I think we can do something. Do you believe LTNC has that potential?
Well, yeah. I think any stock has that potential, and I do think that LTNC has ingredients that most other tickers do not. At least on the OTC, the majority of them have no actual business. They talk about business. They talk about, we've got some huge $50 million, EV deal. We're going, they never do those deals. Those deals never happen. Yeah, that's like 90+% of the companies that trade on the OTC. It's unfortunate what's happened with LTNC because and there was a time where LTNC had more in revenue than any other OTC traded company, than any other. It had more revenue than any other OTC traded company. Okay, and it's transformed into this new different thing now. But there are ingredients here that most OTC companies you're talking about. It's a trip zero something stock with an actual business, an actual plan, with an actual team that's really kicking ass, particularly if you consider the challenges and the bullshit that they've had to deal with. it's just damn impressive. Okay, so yeah, I mean, getting it traded obviously is a big part of that equation. You know, getting it. I mean, you know, unless you're in Canada, you know, when Takeover spins out, it's going to be interesting to see what that dynamic looks like, because at that point, we're going to get shares at some prorated amount. We don't know what, but we're going to get some shares in Takeover. The company's actually producing the revenue, but that's not going to be a 000 situation, and so you're going to have an interesting story once that split off occurs. And so the potential will still be there, but it's going to be a different story. The story we have now will evolve into some other story,
and hopefully we'll have more fundamental backing, you know, within the market cap before we get tradable. Because that's my biggest thing. If we have something behind the story, we can make it. We can move the stock. And what I like is we're going to get the dual language cans now with our athletes, the Figueroa family. And I didn't realize at the time, you know, they're from Texas, they're Mexican American. So when I saw the dual language cans, or when I heard about it, I'm like, okay, that makes sense now. And you know, Figueroa Brandon, I believe he's the interim champion right now. He beat Manny's boy in a grind out of a match. And what I've heard is Manny's on board with that, even though that they're from different camps. So that's good that we have Manny's blessing. And hopefully soon, you know, we'll get some product in the Philippines, maybe in some Filipino language, because I still want to do that world takeover. So thank you, Ryan, for speaking. Does anybody else want to speak? This is your chance. There's a lot of people listening. I know there's a lot of people I've talked to, again, on you know, DMs and stuff, that have a lot to say. This is your chance just to come in, say what you got to say, in a safe environment. You know, do you believe, for Joe's want to talk 1 second? I'm gonna bring you in, Joe. Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. You can speak whenever.
Okay. Good evening. What's happening?
What's happening? Oh, sorry. Oops. Oh. My bad. I muted everybody by accident. Okay, you can speak now, Joe. Sorry about that.
No problem. I'm somewhat technically challenged with this stuff, so I think you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
But no, man, it's good to see everybody back. You know, happy, interested, and you know, I just wanted to make one quick comment. You know, because Mikey and the team did come up with, you know, when we were going through the names, you know, when you're talking about locked in, the reason I liked it right out of the gate was because when you look at, you know, let's say even the old name with Next Level, you know, everybody's trying to go to the next level. We're trying to go to the next level in business, take your health and performance to the next level. But then it was kind of getting overplayed out. People were, you know, some other companies were running with it. So what I really liked about Locked In was something no one's really done. It's actually kind of a popular phrase now, because when you think about what most shareholders and people that are serious about their health, their performance, their financial status, I mean, you got to be locked in. And getting locked in means you got to take advantage of, you know, proper nutrition, proper exercise, and then, you know, if you want to take everything, you know, a step further, you know, performance nutrition, such as, you know, this locked in nootropic drink. So, you know, I really feel, you know, when you were referencing earlier about any type of an award, which, you know, awards are awards, but this really would be the drink that I believe people are going to use, and they're going to say, wow, you know what, you really do get a different effect from that product. Unlike any other type of energy or focus drink that you may have experienced, primarily because of what it does to boost both serotonin and dopamine through the guayusa extract, which is a very exquisite Amazonian superfruit extract that actually helps to improve energy through a number of different pathways, and also really enhances mood. So when you take a look at, you know, almost every other energy drink, which is just caffeine and maybe taurine or some additional, you know, lower dosage nootropics, you'll feel okay from it. You'll get a nice little boost, but nothing where it feels drug-like. And at the end of the day, I mean, especially in this modern era we live in, I mean, most people are on some drug, whether it's caffeine and nicotine or you're taking Adderall. And, I've had so many people come to me that have used and abused Adderall, and they want to get off it. And they're like, man, Joe, what can I take? And so this particular drink with these combinations of ingredients is actually something that, even if you have used very harsh, amphetamine-based drugs like Adderall, you can transition over to this and not experience the performance crash that you normally would if you were trying to cold turkey off that type of a drug. Now, again, I'm not making drug claims. I'm not saying this product is a drug. But when I'm saying you have a product that is natural with clinically tested ingredients and specific combinations that will produce what I call drug-like effects. The drug-like effect is something that feels so good, you're thinking this thing has to be illegal, but it's not. So that's where it's been fun, because I know that was the product that originally Ryan, because really I got to credit Ryan for the original idea for the gamer shot when we did that, because we had just launched the hydrogen water and we were having a conversation, and he's like, man, what could we do that would be something maybe for esports? And I said, well, shit, let's do gamer shot. So that original one that we did back in like May of 2021, that was the base of what this new locked-in nootropic drink is. So you're going to get the same effects spread out over 12 ounces, a little more palatable because you're able to have it, everything dissolved in more liquid. So, I mean, and I'm an energy drink fiend. I'm a supplement hound. I mean, I take it, try everything, and you got to be the human guinea pig sometimes to know what works for you, because different biochemical individuality and genetics and lifestyle and activities, amount of activity you do in any particular day is all going to dictate how well your body is going to respond to supplements. And so that's where I know I had a couple questions on this yesterday. I had a few DMs that what I really want to do to provide value to everyone, whether you're buying product or not, or you're a shareholder or not, is to really provide that blueprint and the roadmap to build or rebuild your body to then go the distance in life. And that's what the Life March diet is about. So most companies that come out in any level, they're trying to sell you a product, but they're not providing you the roadmap and the tools and the guidance and the intuition to be able to help you to gain control of your health and your performance, and to be able to sustain it for a lifetime. It's the same way if you took a financial advisor. They don't want you to be up and down. They want you to continue to build on your wealth, right? You want to keep building. Who wants to be up and down? And that's been the problem with diets and health and wellness and even products in the past, is that nothing is that sustainable to where you can continue to build on it and become better and better. So that's really what I want to do with this. And I do want to thank everyone for their positive comments. And without getting too deep into it, I mean, day 1 to day 95, when Ryan kind of handed over the reins, I did the job, and then new management came in and said, hey, set the microphone down, we're taking it from here. And then you know what happened after that. So so now we're back, and and again, the team has been great. Mikey's been great. Jam, Javier, I mean, all these guys are really committed, very intuitive, young, ambitious, and Tom Zara, of course, has done a great job. So we're not out of the woods yet, but I mean, I do feel very confident that if we just continue to marching forward, we'll be able to get this thing back to where we need it to be. And in my opinion, that was would be one of the most epic comebacks, because we were really kind of being strung out and led down the trail of death, but we've been able to come back from it. And if we continue to fight and everybody's able to unite and communicate effectively, and share your thoughts and your ideas as far as other products that you guys would like to see. There's absolutely no limit to anything related to health, wellness, and performance that we can't do. And if you recall, in the early going, we did the hydrogen water. In 30 days, we got that out April 1st. Early May, we were doing the gamer shot, and things were moving smooth. And so that's what I really do, and that's why it's great to have a guy like Tom Zara to come in and buffer everything up top to be able to handle those situations. Because when you're on the phone with attorneys 6 to 8 hours a day, which I've been, and you're dealing with auditors and accountants and and just a bunch of nonsense, and putting out fires and cleaning up messes, you're not in a creative space, you're not in a motivated space, you get into a depressed space and you're just frustrated. And so, nobody can be in that, environment for, 2 years and be able to be productive to actually, build a brand, build products, and, and manage all of that when you're having to do all the cleanup. So now, Tom's done a great job with that. And so he's going to continue to do that. So as we're now going to, step in with, today being officially day one, we'll just continue to see what we can do to make it happen.
100%. Thank you for that, Joe. I have a quick question for you. You went a lot. So what's your research and development schedule like? How do you figure out about this ingredient from South America? Are you going online? Are you talking to somebody? Are you looking at a back of a different can? What's that process?
No, great question. I'm actually fortunate because I've been doing this for over 20 years. So all of the top ingredient suppliers and manufacturers of a wide variety of these ingredients, they know that I usually have my finger on the pulse of, product development, innovation. And so they usually come to me with different things and say, hey, Joe, what do you think of this ingredient? Do you think you can use this in any products that you're doing? Because I've done, a wide range of products ranging from energy to sleep support, anxiety relief, even things to help potentiate the effects of THC and cannabis. So, there's skincare, hair care, you name it. So I usually get this science that comes to me, and because I have kind of the ability to understand the science and say, okay, well, how can we integrate this in with either, some other ingredients or some other technology to create a product that is going to deliver an effect that has never been felt by the consumer or provide a result that's never been felt by the consumer. So, and I do, of course, do some independent research, but a lot of it is just kind of, it's like, when you're getting in the mix, you might say to somebody who's a good trader, man, how do you hear about these stocks? It's like, well, you've been in it for so long, people just come to you with this opportunity and that opportunity. So, I kind of have been in a position where I get a lot of this new ingredient technology presented to me, and then, of course, I've got, products that need to be developed, and I just, make a determination of what might be a good combination based on, real world experience, based on, research, and then put samples together, get it out to various groups to try. And, when I get good feedback from sort of the human guinea pigs, then I know that we can continue to move forward to refine it to then get the product ready to go to market. So that's kind of the process.
Thank you for that, Joe. Great explanation. Junior, I know you wanted to speak, so I'm going to allow you to speak. And before you speak, Junior, Beach, request to speak. Please, everybody wants to hear you speak, bro. So please request to speak soon. Junior, you can go ahead.
Thanks. I just had a product question for Joe. On the flavored hydrogen water, the three flavors, what kind of market research or insight did you have on picking those specific flavors? And do you envision at some point maybe retooling those flavors that's a little bit more to what we see in other brands from just a market or marketing kind of naming?
Yeah, absolutely. Those were the three flavors that have been tested and we're ready to go. So we kind of went with those. But, over the course of time, if there's other flavor suggestions, we certainly will entertain all of that. But, we just wanted to get, something that was proven, that was already done, had testing done. Flavor profiles were fine. So that was pretty much, the thought process and decision behind that.
And sorry, one last question regarding the flavor. So I understand on yesterday's call that obviously when it infuses hydrogen with flavor, it does kind of take the ppms a little bit lower. Are you constantly doing research to see if you can ramp up that ppm with flavor at some points? It's kind of on par with your regular non-flavored hydrogen water?
Yeah, and in fact, Danny's been working on that too. He's not ready to do the flavored water yet, but that is something that he's been working on. So it's because when flavoring goes in, any other additional ingredients goes in, it essentially limits the saturation of how much hydrogen can be suspended within the water. So therefore, less in the water, more higher levels of molecular hydrogen. That's where the colloidal minerals, like with Quad C, for instance, doesn't really take up much space. So when you're adding more flavor, it's going to limit the amount of hydrogen. But over time, technology is always advancing. So I'm pretty confident, based on our alternate manufacturer that's producing the flavored water, that within the next year we may be able to get those ppms up to 3 parts per million. But for most people, 1.5 with the flavoring's not bad, but if you're, really hardcore and you just want to get as much hydrogen as possible, then, most people would start their day with like the standard, spring water with hydrogen. And then if you want something, midday or before a workout or after a workout, you can go with the flavored water.
Great question. And since we're talking about Danny, I don't know if you could speak for this, Joe. He has great technology and stuff, and I know we have, a lot of debts to pay off. We got to pay off James and whatnot. Is there somewhere down the road where possibly we could get Danny's business facilities under, Next Gen Holdings or LTNC to kind of bolster up our market cap? Would a buyout be an option later down the road?
I mean, in any arena at any time, that is always an option. It just comes down to timing and when it makes sense for both parties. So, I think with any of our partners, that's always a discussion, but usually it just comes down to timing. So, if the stars align and success is being had by all, then that certainly could be a possibility.
Awesome, J Money, you're allowed to speak. You can say whatever you want.
Yo, what's up? How are you doing, man?
Good.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I just have a general question. So I know, there's a whole thing with the lawsuits going on and stuff, and filings are jumbled up. But I was wondering, has the management ever looked at the Form C route once they transferred from Nevada to Wyoming? Have you guys looked at that? Because that seems to be effective for a lot of these dark companies that want to become tradable again.
Yeah, I mean, most options are being explored, and it's actually somewhat mind-numbing when you take a look at, the amount of legal activity that's going on. So I know Tom is looking into that, and, we're literally trying to do whatever is best for the long haul and for the shareholders. And that's really the reason that we're all here. It was a situation where, when the shit was hitting the fan last October, I went to Tom and I said, hey, look, we got to have a conversation. That's when everything kind of came to light. And once he saw that, he said, well, I said, we're going to need about 6 months to get this thing cleaned up. It was a very difficult process, but yet 6 months to the date was yesterday that we launched the website. So it's, it's been a lot of hard work, but, we're doing this for the people. And so it's that's what Tom is 100% focused on, as I am, and the rest of the team.
Speaking of my bad.
It's great to have you back out front, Joe.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It wasn't necessarily something wasn't really know how it was going to go, but over the last couple months, once the truth kind of came out, and people sort of seen what was really going on, that process had to happen. It's almost like a fire that has to blaze and burn and then let it burn out, and so just a matter of timing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to do what needs to be done here. The job's not done yet, and I really want to make this thing happen because there's some great people involved. I mean, the shareholders are amazing, and I know that's what Ryan said from the beginning, was that that was his biggest focus, was the shareholders and doing what's best for the people. So that's why he was the people CEO, and I did my best to honor his name and his legacy, and to continue to take this thing where it needs to go.
Speaking of long-term and timetables, I mean, obviously there's different timetables for different situations. And we want to get this off the ground, but what is, say, maybe the 5-year plan, 7-year plan? Do you plan, does management see themselves as something they're riding off in the sunset with? Is this a potential, if we get to a certain number, a buyout opportunity? I have, illusions of being bought out by Coke one day if we hit our specific numbers and whatnot. Where is management in this long game and timetable?
That's a great question, and we've been so focused on getting through the day-to-day battles and looking more short and midterm to just make sure that we're able to get to that position so that we could continue to build the company to go for that type of a buyout, because of course that's everyone's goal. But usually, if you look at any type of a beverage brand, historically, it's usually at least a 2 to 3, if not a 3 to 5 year process. I feel that if we can really accelerate our progress online with direct to consumer, that really does build the demand with the retailers, because the retailers these days, they're looking at social media, they're looking at consumer demand, is there consumer awareness, is there brand awareness, and so if we're able to kind of go back to the beginning and really be able to get the direct sales going, that then sets the stage to make it easier for us to then go into retail, and then from that standpoint, continue to grow and expand. And I think with our international contacts, it'll be very beneficial for us because we've got some great international contacts. There's another plan in place with the Brandon and his team that's coming on. So there's going to be a lot of growth, but it's got to have to be day by day, step by step. But that would be the goal. And typically, that type of a deal usually is about a 3 to 5 year plan. But obviously, I'm sure for everybody involved, we'd all like to see that happen a lot sooner. So once we can put all the fires out, and then we can put all of that energy that we are putting there into building products and building the brand and getting distribution, that's when I think we'll really be able to move this thing at a very rapid speed.
Awesome. That's a more optimistic answer or response than I was thinking. Obviously, the shareholders are going to support any which way possible to get them sales up. It's already an hour in, guys. If anybody else has any questions, please request now. I don't want to keep these things long. I know you guys have lives and things like that. We got a lot of information already sent to us the last couple of days. So please, if you guys have any other questions, request now, or I'm just going to close this up, and we can do this 2 weeks from now or whenever. There's a request coming in 1 second. All right, Austin, you can speak.
You guys might have answered this before. This might have been asked a lot, but I've never been a part of a stock that's done a spinoff or anything. And this question might not even be able to be answered, but what's a ratio look like for the spinoff for the amount of shares that we would get?
Tom gave
Just like a
that
general
answer
roundabout?
last night. He explained how that works on the Live Locked In Twitter. You might want to refer to that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I figured it was probably answered already.
Yeah, you're gonna. It's basically, I don't want to quote what he said because I can't remember exactly what he said, but I know it has to do with you keep the same percentage. Like you're not, something like that. But I would definitely, like I said, disclaimer is I would definitely go listen to what he said last night because he's the one that has been in the trenches with this nonstop.
All right. Yeah. So in a spin out, we'll get the same percentage in Takeover that we own in LTNC. So if you own 1% of LTNC, you'll get a 1% ownership in Takeover.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Awesome. Nate, you wanted to speak? You're on.
Yes, I wanted to speak. Okay. LTNS, I put some money in there and I don't have it anymore. And I just want to know, did I lose that money? I'm new to the stock game and I just need some answers.
Yeah, I can answer that. So yes, we're a penny stock. We've gone through a lot of turmoil the last 2 years. The stock is not tradable right now. It's on expert market. But your shares, there's still a company behind it. The management is still working to get the company tradable again and some more value behind the ticker symbol. So I would look at the ticker symbol, even though it's close to zero right now. Just like money, it's just an illusion. At any second, when the stars align, that could be a lot higher than it is right now. So that's why we're all here right now. We're in solidarity. We're all bagged. All of our accounts are pretty much at zero. But we do understand if we get this off the ground, it could be worth a lot more. And so, just hanging tight. Like Joe said, I mean, it could be a couple years away, but it could be worth it. So.
Okay, and I just want to put in here, I'm in this group chat because, like you guys, I see a living chance. And I do believe in you guys a lot. And I also want to mention I am a film producer, international at that. And I really want to help your marketing. I can really help your marketing because I could see the vision. I'm here for a reason. And I want to get connected, and I want to push this, and I want to fight.
Yes, sir, Nate. I love that. I'm a film producer as well, so we should maybe collab on something with us together. That'd be nice. Jared, go ahead. You can speak.
Hey, what's up, guys? Long time shareholder here. Good to have you back, Joe. This may have been answered. I came in a little bit late, but just wanted to ask about the SEO for the new brand, LOCKD'IN. And I love the name, by the way. But when I search Google or type in LOCKD'IN or anything like that currently, and I know it takes some time to get built up, but it doesn't display anywhere on Google. So just wondering if there's a plan, obviously, in place to get us at the top of the list there.
100%. There's a plan. Tom's working on all of that stuff now on the back end, getting more marketing, etc., which is exactly what you're talking about. The Google searches and the Facebook ads and the Instagram, ramping it up. Exactly.
Yeah, like paid social,
Yep.
SEO, all that stuff. So.
Exactly. We do it on a small scale right now, a smaller scale, and it's going to be ramped up 100%.
Cool. Yeah, I figured so.
I know, and that's actually a great question because it wasn't addressed last night. No one asked it last night.
Yeah, and it's just brand new name, and like I said, the name's I love it. So, congrats, guys.
Thank you,
Mr. University or Mr. Universe. Go ahead. You're still connecting. Hold on, I'll give you 1 second. Anybody else want to speak as he's connecting? Any other questions? We're about to wrap this up now. A lot of information shared today. I will be editing this up, and this will be on YouTube tomorrow, so you guys can review this in a more slower way. If nobody else wants to speak, I'm just going to close this up now. Thank you guys for coming on today. This was amazing. We'll do this again 2 weeks from now. I believe LOCKD'IN management is planning on doing it almost every Wednesday. And so just stay tuned what they got in store next week. I'm sure they have a lot more bombs to drop on us. So with that being said, I love you guys, and we'll see you soon.